let's talk about some things that get in the way of having relationships or happy relationships, and that is anger at the opposite sex. Let's talk about anger at the opposite sex. Um, Disappointment, anger, contempt at the opposite sex in general. And you may not have any, and you may. So just watch this video and see if something comes up for you and if there's an opportunity for you to release something so you can be more free and powerful in your life. And this is inspired by a comment someone left for me on my video, Why Women Are Not Promiscuous. And I'm going to link my video in the description, because then you can look up the guy who made the video. I don't want to name him or berate him or gossip about him, but just watch his video. The video is he's commenting on a 23-year-old woman who made a cake celebrating that she'd had sex with 40 men. And the man making the video, I think he's a dating coach, is really judgmental about it and really angry about it. And what I got out of his 13-minute video was his intense anger at promiscuous women, that they're dumb, they will never have a good relationship, there's something really wrong with them, no man will want them, that women want men who have social proof, but men don't want women who have social proof. Like women want men who are desired by many women, but men don't want women who've been desired by many men or had by many men, or he said filled up by many men. There was a lot of contempt there, and that does not mean that he should like a woman who's had sex with many men. But I noticed his contempt. If it hadn't been contempt, the video would have gone something like, he could have made the video about, it's interesting how times have changed, how women are now exploring with the same sexual power that men had. Or the woman didn't really seem happy. What could be going on in her life that made her this way, like as a inquiry. Or he could have made it about, I feel really triggered by this, what's going on for me around this. Or, as a father figure giving advice to young women. Or it could have come from a more loving place, but it came from a very angry place. So that's what really stuck out. And it reminded me that, because I don't come across angry men are not attracted to me. But I realized after watching this, I just felt his anger. It was like, oh my God. And then I realized about other angry men. So I just thought I should make a video about being angry. So let's continue, and then I'll talk about women who are angry at men, okay? Because I have some of that in me myself that I'm trying to heal. So we have that gentleman. It's on 333 Secrets. That's his channel. And he may have really good intentions. I just heard a lot of anger, okay? And I want to say that I think women are now, we're really changing our roles a lot. And that doesn't mean that the changes are always nourishing for us or healthy. And women are saying, men have gone around fucking us like objects for millennia. And now we want to do it too. We want to fuck men like objects. We don't want to be oppressed anymore. And sometimes when people go against oppression, they maybe swing too far the other way. It's like a social experiment. Like socially, we're changing. Women are saying we're no longer willing to be oppressed. And maybe the way they're doing it isn't the most healthy way. I don't know. And there's also been a thing of, feminism is weak. Emotions are weak. I want to be like men. I want to be powerful like men. And I used to judge myself based off of men's sexuality and think I should be sexual like men. If I don't fuck a lot of people, or if I need warm up, I need foreplay, I'm not sexual enough. I judged myself off porn. I judged myself off men. And I had to heal and honor my femininity and claim my femininity. You know, it wasn't until a few years ago that I was able to say, I need some warm up. I'm not like you guys. I'm not going to compare myself to men or pace myself off men. I would say that that could be a factor for other people. Okay, so let's continue. So then there's Kevin Samuels and a lot of men. Now, this is the thing. When you watch the men who have anger with women, you will see other men leaving very affirming comments. And I think those men are also angry with women. And before I go on to give more examples, I just want to say that you have a reason you're angry with women, because probably the first woman in your life let you down and hurt you. Your mom. Okay? Your mom probably hurt you, neglected you, abused you, wasn't there for you. You felt hurt in some way by the first woman in your life, your mother. And that happens to many women also, okay? Our parents weren't perfect, they hurt us, and now we're carrying this hurt around and angry or closed off or guarded against women our whole lives, just carrying that around. We're not kids anymore, we're adults. Not all women are bitches, shrews, shrills, abusers, cheaters, and liars. Maybe your mom was, but that's not all women. So the work of being an adult, I'm here to share, is to let go of the past and do some healing and form new patterns. So if you find yourself guarded against women or hating on women, and the way to kind of know it is like if I say the word feminine energy, if I say the word woman, what comes up for you? That's what you can heal. And even your own feminine energy, the part of you that's vulnerable and nurturing and caring, and flowing and spontaneous, that part of you, start loving that part of you and start loving the feminine energy. You don't have to love every woman, but just clear that negative space. The other one is Kevin Samuels. There's so many men who love him. And he is really mean to women. Whoever calls in, he tries to find something wrong with her, you know, and he asks the same questions. Ma'am, how much do you weigh? How tall are you? How many kids do you have? Have you ever been married? No matter what she answers, it's bad. It's wrong. So I don't know if he's gay or if he hates women. Definitely he hates women. I guess just I've seen some videos about him, you know, that he has made up a lot of things about his success and he has a bad relationship with his daughter. He's behind on child support, blah, blah, blah. Then we have the men in the red pill community who go around teaching guys that, or who go around talking about how a woman's value peaks in her early 20s and then declines, as if a woman is just a cum dumpster. They look at women as cum dumpsters who are just physical objects for penetration and arm candy. They don't want to get married. They think women are cheaters, manipulators, liars, and trying to take their money. Yes, there are women like that. Yes, that happens. But when you make your whole life and your outlook on women around how women are going to hurt you, you know, and teaching other men how women are going to hurt you and telling women that their value declines after 20 something, their sexual market value. I'm a sex worker. My value has increased with my experience. I know women of all ages get into relationships. Your value is not based on your age. That's saying that your value is based on your age, or for ladies, or telling guys his value is based on his money, comes from a wounded place, you guys. It comes from pain. You know, I'm going to protect myself by only being with these certain people who I can treat as objects. And if you're just with these really young women, they're very easily manipulated. You know, you can have more control over them. that maybe makes you feel more safe. I'm going to get a young woman who doesn't really know what she wants. I can easily control her. I'm not going to marry her, so she will never take my money. And she's going to be good arm candy and make me look good. It just screams pain and insecurity to me. Okay, that's what I see. So, I don't think that it's healthy, ladies, to listen to all those guys who are coming from a place of pain. Also, women can come from a place of pain. They can say things like, men just want to fuck me, men just always cheat on me, men disappoint me, men leave me, men hurt me, and men are disappointing, they're just not good enough, they don't do anything right, I don't need a man. And that will come from a place of the first man in your life probably was a disappointment. Like in my case, I've had a thing around men are disappointing. Men are too ugly. They're not interesting enough. They feel repulsive to me. These are things I've been trying to heal in myself. Okay? And that's because from certain things that happened to me in this life. The first man in my life really loved me, and yet he was an utter disappointment. Not utter, I'm exaggerating. It wasn't an utter disappointment. I felt disappointed often. I had experiences of feeling disappointed by a man I loved. Okay? The first man in my life, my dad, disappointed me. I felt disappointed. And I remember having to hug my grandfather. He was like, I felt so repulsed. I always had to hug people, even if I didn't want to. So I had a lot of experiences of feeling repulsed by the people that loved me, So love was associated with disappointment and feeling repulsed. And those are things that I'm trying to clear out, because that was, I don't want to carry that around into other people now. And in fact, what happened for me was when I cleared that disappointing and repulsive energy, when I actually allowed myself to feel it, because I kept saying I shouldn't feel disappointed by men. I shouldn't feel repulsed by these types of men, because that's in the way of me, being open-hearted and loving. I was judging it, and it was still staying there. So I'm finally like, okay, I'm just going to own it and feel it. That was only in the last few months, like a couple months ago, this happened for me, that I let myself own it and feel it, okay? And released it, like just felt it in my body, released it, replaced it with light. And so now when I go look at these guys on the online dating app, instead of going, yuck, 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 that's what I used to do. Now I'm like, oh, they're so cute. Oh, they look so sweet. Oh, what a great photo. And I found them really endearing. I don't feel attracted to them or wanting them or feeling like they're my match. So it didn't help me to feel disappointed and repulsed. I thought that these feelings of disappointment and repulsion were also helping me weed out who was right for me, but it didn't. It's not like just because I let that go, now I want them all. I don't, but I'm no longer have that negative energy in me, okay? There are women coming from a place of pain too. When you hear a woman saying, I don't need a man, that's guarded. That's like, I don't see how a man could, I don't want to open to a man. I don't want to be receptive to a man. I don't want to be vulnerable to a man. So if you hear a woman say, I don't need a man, or if a woman who hates men will also see men as objects, she won't be allowing any vulnerability in. So she will just use him for his money, let's say. She just wants you for your status and for your money. If she's guarded, she's not going to allow you to open her up and feel loved by you. That I think would be, they're also, let's see, I'm trying to think, because for me, that thing around men was not that big, because I do like men. I just had some things in my way. Like, I'm trying to think what a woman, it's easier for me to say, I wanted to do the half and half, but it's easier for me to see where men are being angry at women because when I hear men talking like that, I'm like, ooh, this doesn't land well for me. This doesn't feel loving to me. This doesn't feel like I would never. Now, these guys that are angry at women would never book an appointment with me. And I would never want it with them. I wouldn't, all that anger and hatred that I feel, it's like, I don't want that in my space. I don't really know if, I don't really hear any videos on YouTube of women being angry at men. I guess women who talk very angry. I think there's a woman named Tasha K. She talks very angrily. I can't listen to all that anger. Like it's just too. I don't like it. So I don't. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys can leave something in the comments about women who are angry with men. Um, or like if you think that men are disappointing, it would just be because a man has let you down somewhere along the way, and now you're projecting that disappointment onto every man and seeing it even when it isn't there, or seeing it in an exaggerated way. So let's say you feel men are disappointing and you're in a relationship and you tell your guy, oh, on your way home from the gym, will you pick up some milk? And he actually forgets. He gets everything else you want. He forgets the milk. And instead of saying, oh, thank you, honey, for stopping at the store, you immediately zero in on the disappointment. Like, you forgot the milk. You don't care about me. I feel so disappointed. You don't care what I want. And you're focusing on the negative because you're carrying all the stuff around men are disappointing. So you have to see that pattern and start focusing on what they're doing right and not relive that pattern. Okay, that's really the only tip I have on that. Yeah, I think that also goes in line with there's a gentleman named Aaron Taylor, that's what he calls himself, who made a comment on that video as well, saying he's been single for a long time, he doesn't drink or smoke, he likes women, he doesn't have any kids, he's educated, he has hobbies, he works out, and he's been single for a really long time and he doesn't understand why. And so for that, I want to say maybe it's not anger at women, but it could be in some kind of walled off thing where if a man feels like a woman is could hurt him, maybe you're not angry, but maybe you're afraid. You're afraid to be vulnerable or put yourself out there. There could be, I don't know, I would have to talk to you, but for guys who, I meet guys like that who are super shy in the escort session, they're afraid to touch me, they're afraid they're going to upset me, so they're afraid to pursue. They're afraid to pursue because they feel like their sexual energy is unwanted, their masculinity is unwanted, a woman won't want them, they don't feel wanted, so they don't pursue, or they're walled off because, you have to bring your heart into it to pursue a woman. You have to lead with your heart and show an interest, and that requires vulnerability. I'm interested in you. I want to date you. I want to know you, and you might reject me. So there's that fear of being hurt. There's that fear of being vulnerable, starting a relationship in dating situations require a little bit of vulnerability and saying, hey, I'm interested in you. I'd like to get to know you, or in some way. If you're afraid of opening, pursuing, or being vulnerable, it's going to be harder to get into a relationship. So men definitely have to put themselves out there and feel comfortable with their masculinity, that a woman wants me, a woman wants a man. Okay, do you have a story that women don't want men? A woman wants a man, so this is a healthy masculine way. A woman wants a man. She craves my masculine energy. She craves my strength and my sexuality. And I'm leading with my heart and I'm going to pursue these women. Okay? That's the mindset you have to have. And that you have to bring your not neediness, but inner peacefulness and sexual aggression. So you have to be inwardly calm and sexually and aggressive at the same time. You need the complementary energies and pursuing a woman. And I think what women need is to have this inner strength in us, and yet the softening receptivity to a man, and allowing a man into our lives to influence us and to support us and dominate us, you know, and walk side by side with us. I think that's what we need. So we have to be loving both our masculine and feminine energies to get into really happy relationships. So for those guys making those videos hitting on women, I'm sure they can get a woman, like a young woman, like maybe some virgin that they want or whatever, but I don't know how happy those relationships will be, especially as the women grow into their 30s and start having their own ideas and not wanting to be so controlled. And I don't know how these guys get along with their partners when there's a conflict, if the woman feels really like alive and appreciated, you know. So in the end, I'm going to say that to be, you know, really go through life powerfully, I think that we have to make peace with the broken parts that we have with our parents, as we're responsible as adults to fill those parts up, and to heal our wounds with the masculine, the feminine energies, so that we're not carrying it around into all these new situations. That doesn't mean you have to open your heart to just everyone, but just kind of notice what's there for you around masculine and feminine energy. And hey, who said life was easy? Thank you so much for watching my video.